And now for your listening pleasure, here's Pulizzi and Rose, covering the week of media, marketing, and digital content news. This Old Marketing. Take it away, boys.
Well, hello, my friends. Welcome to This Old Marketing, proudly brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. And I'm Robert Rose, and welcome to episode number 401. That's right, the 401st hour of hot takes on the news and media for Friday, November 10th, 2023. And with me, as always, as he always is, my pal, my colleague, the Travis Kelce to my Jason Kelce, Mr. Joe Pulizzi.
That's a good reference because I'm sort of digging what those Kelce brothers are doing.
They're doing a nice job. They're doing a really nice,
which is
it
so
really
smart.
annoys me. I really like Jason Kelce. By the way, I put myself as the Jason Kelce since I'm the older brother, I guess, in this. But so
the older, better looking brother.
Yes. Now the only flaw in the whole thing is that Jason Kelce plays for the Eagles, which are the hated team, of course, of the Dallas Cowboys. So, yeah.
But so you can root for him not to get injured. He's just a good
he's
dude.
Just a good egg. He's just a good smart.
By the way,
and he's a Hall of Fame player. I mean,
and the Kelces are from Cleveland Heights, which is
just
a few minutes away from me. And what my favorite thing about Travis Kelce, and maybe Jason does it too, but when he's on Monday Night Football and he introduces himself when he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, they say Travis Kelce. He always says Cleveland Heights, and I'm like, yeah, Travis. Yeah, that's my boy, Blue. You're my boy. You're my boy, Blue.
Well,
I love you.
They're both incredible players. I mean, they're just both incredible players, and I love the way that they both play. You know, unlike the jerk George Kittle, who I think is
that's that. There was no reason to do for those of you who. George Kittle, when San Francisco beat the Cowboys the last time, he lifted up his jersey and he had what was the statement? We don't need to
F Dallas, basically.
We don't need to do that. Was unbecoming of a gentleman.
It is unbecoming of a gentleman, and with his sort of Duck Dynasty mullet haircut, it's sort of is a whole thing. Oh, did I just say that out loud? All right, well, fine. There you go.
Well, it's
I'm not above being petty.
they have come down to earth.
They have definitely come down to
ever
earth.
Since when they lost to the Browns, they just went downhill, and it's just been horrible. Now they're whatever, they've lost a few here and there. So
well, they lost 3 in a row. So there you go.
But I'm excited about this episode.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun because here's the way we can sort of kick it off. I actually went back and went to all of our predictions from the show that we did in December of 2022 to come up with this year's predictions, and in doing so, logged them all. And the idea of the show is going to be, of course, that we go through these. There are 11 because, of course, you had to have one more than me. That's just the way you are. And so we'll go through the 11 predictions and see how we did, give ourselves a grade. This will be the grade episode, I guess you could call it. But the first one, which is one that I threw out at the very end, related to football, was our prediction for the team's performance. Do you remember what you said? For the Browns, the Browns in December of 2023 that you were forecasting in December of 2022. So
and
total of 15 games.
And I said that they were going to be very good, right? And I was very wrong.
I don't think you're terribly wrong. You said 10-5. You said they would be 10-5.
And they ended up 8-9 or something like that, didn't they?
No. This is for this year.
Oh, for this year.
Yeah, for this year. You were predicting.
Is that the way we did it? Oh,
yeah.
Geez, for the next year.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. It could be amazing.
You're 10-5. That's what you said.
I said 10-5, and you said what?
9-6. I actually underplayed it. I played the under. So I'm actually, if they go 9-6 now, being 5-2 where they are right now, then I really sort of misguess, or they just collapse. They have to collapse to get to 9-6. I mean, that's crazy.
There's plenty of time for the Browns to completely
fall apart,
blow the entire season. we have no quarterback, and as much as I love PJ Walker, right now we just don't have a quarterback we can count on, and it's a concerning fact.
Yeah,
especially while Baker Mayfield is having very, very good games at Tampa Bay. It's sort of frustrating that we let that one go.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. That's basically
5-3 now, right?
Cleveland sport. Well, it's hard to say because we haven't had so as we record this, they are 5-3.
Yeah. Okay.
But
they won't be. They'll either be 6-3 or 5-4 after as people hear this. Yeah, that's true.
And everybody in the division has a winning record too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I don't know. We'll see. See, here's the thing. This is a Cleveland fan. We could win the Super Bowl, and then I would wait 10 minutes after the game's over. I'm going to wait for the flag to be thrown on the field for them to overturn the last 7 plays of the year, because that's what Cleveland Browns fan is. That's exactly funny. What happened. And by the way, just so people know, it's a Cleveland sports. I totally respect Cleveland sports fans specifically, especially Indians Guardians fans.
Yeah.
In '97, we lost it went into extra innings, 7 games, lost that one. 2016 to the Cubs, extra innings, game 7. How many times does that happen? Twice. Right. It happened to us. So, well, that's it. We still haven't.
Well, as we've talked about before, the Browns are the one team that I know. There may be others, but there's the one team I know where you have names for those plays. Like you literally have there are like official team names for those plays that are sort of the disaster. That 1 yard, the 1 yard line fumble and the whole thing.
The fumble, I'll even say is the fumble. Ernest Biner. Say the drive, huh? John Elway. Yeah. We all. We don't have good plays that we can say like you have. Like Pittsburgh Steelers has the what's the catch? The Franco Harris.
Yeah, the immaculate reception.
Yeah, all their names are on good things that happen. Yeah. The only thing that we have that's if any good, and apologies to my friend JK, that ever happened was when Turkey Jones took Bradshaw and dumped him upside his head.
Yeah,
that's the best thing that's happened in Brown sports history, I think. That was as much, and I do like Terry Bradshaw, but anyways.
There you go. All right, let's get to some predictions, shall we? See how we did here.
People didn't want any of that.
Yeah,
but here's the good stuff.
Yeah, no, this will be fun. Yeah. This will be fun. All right, so we're going to kick it off with the first one. So just so you know, out there, if you're keeping score at home, set your expectations low here. As we said on the show in 2022, we were asked. By me, by the way, I kept us to be very specific.
Yes.
So I didn't remember that, but when I went back and listened to the old show to get the list, I was like, no. I was like, you have to be specific. You have to be specific. So we were pretty specific, and we were pretty wrong. So here's the first one. So this was you kicked us off.
This is me. Okay.
And you said in 2023. Either TikTok will strike a deal where TikTok is allowed to continue as a U.S. company or some kind of company, or be banned. And then I made you be specific about which one of those it was going to be. And you said, okay, it's allowed to continue as a U.S. company. Basically, they'll strike a deal. A through F?
Well, you have to go F, right?
Yeah, it's
because
an F.
It didn't. Neither one happened.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, I'm very surprised that petered out. There was a lot of push into, my God, outrage.
When you made this, it was
Chinese company. Yeah. I thought for sure it was happening.
States were banning it. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Now maybe I'll go with a D- here for the only fact that you're seeing it happen. Like UK banned it in certain places. You have some government organizations in the United States that have banned it. So it's not. There are some places that did ban it, but no, nothing like I thought it was going to be. And so I think it's just going to go on. And to be honest, this our Congress is not gonna. They've got way too many other things to look into, and us going into an election year, nothing is.
Oh, it's not going to happen in 24. Yeah, it's not going to happen in 24.
It's going to happen
for sure.
And so they're just and here, and I'm not saying that TikTok is evil, but I am saying that we spend an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, the average American who is on TikTok, in TikTok. It is the most addictive platform on the planet right now, and it's getting more addicting. And it is probably the most powerful social media platform on the planet right now, I would say.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, I think it reflects, and this gets to a little bit, I mean, I know we're not doing predictions here, but it gets to a little bit of what I've been talking about in terms of what I think is going to happen in 24, which is I think the nature of social media is changing, right? So, I mean, it's always been arguable in my mind whether YouTube is actually a social network or it's just a video distribution consumption platform, right? Because let's be honest, there's not a lot social that happens on YouTube, right? I mean, the comments,
not a lot of conversation happening there,
and certainly not a lot of quality conversation. Yeah, it's basically you go to consume content off YouTube, not to have social media discussions about it, and nor does it really serve as a platform where content creators are doing stuff in a way that they're conversing with their audiences. They're doing stuff as performance, right? It's all about performance and consumption to audience, not social conversation, etc. TikTok's the same way, really. I mean, it's not, I mean, there's a little more interaction and commenting and stuff like that on TikTok, but I think the primary thing is content consumption there. So
I'm going to give, I'm going to give me an F plus.
An F plus, okay.
I can't go D minus because that's too forgiving. But F plus, I think I'm gonna. If it's an F, it's a 59. It's like a 59.
Okay, there you go.
All right, there you go. What do you got? What's yours?
So my first prediction was just almost as bad. Mine was Netflix will merge with another streaming platform in 2023, and Disney will make a big acquisition in the metaverse space. Wah, 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 wah. I mean,
did you really say that first part? I remember the second part. Did you say that? Oh,
yeah. I said it was going to merge. I thought they were going to merge with one of the bigger streaming platforms. And when I say merge, I mean probably acquire is probably what I meant. But that was, I mean, that
what's your grade? What's your
grade? Oh, F, 100% F. I mean, neither of those things happened. The fact that I said that Disney's going to make an acquisition in the metaverse department that's silly too.
Well, metaverse, boy, did that come. I mean, that was a thing last year, and now nobody's talking about metaverse, which we'll get to later in the in the show, because I had a couple of predictions on that one. Yeah. But I guess what we've learned over the past year is how truly dominant Netflix is, and head and shoulders above every other streaming platform.
They made the ad model work. They're making the ad model work, and the password
thing has really worked, which my two kids are very upset about, by the way.
Yeah.
But they're making it work because people are saying, okay, we can't do this. Well, we like it. And they're raising prices too. I mean, they can do everything right now because they're the only ones that were prepared for this whole writers and actors strike.
That's right.
With the amount of content they have coming in. What's really interesting is the foreign content that they have coming in.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy. They always have something new every day. And usually it's from another country.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what they've done.
There's a lot there. There's a lot there that isn't, this is again, this goes back to the actors and writers strike, which is, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. Right. I mean, which is competition, the global competition now for the quote unquote Hollywood experience is here. Right. We kind of, we're getting to a point now in the US where that used to be like the thing. Like we just didn't watch British television, and we just didn't watch anything coming out of Asia, because it just didn't look like it was American. But that's no longer the case. We're definitely watching those shows now.
Is Coco the best? Just totally odd question. Is Coco the best Pixar movie ever? Now that we're talking about Disney here on the back end of your,
I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. Oh my God.
We just had the Day of the Dead as we record this. So November 2nd. You need to, I want you, so homework assignment, go watch Coco. I want to know what you think, because I think it's the
Oh,
best.
wait a minute! I did see that. I did see Coco. The day that it's the Day
De
los
los
Muertos.
Muertos.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
did actually see that. It was beautiful. It was it
Yeah.
was such a beautiful
It's
story.
so good because I think
The
everybody
end
talks
of
about
that is
Toy
good.
Story and some of the other ones, but honestly, it's that
I
one.
thought you were talking about the one that just came out about all the emotions, where all the emotion.
Well, there was one was Elemental.
That's the one.
Is that a Pixar one?
That didn't
do well at
No,
all.
it didn't. No, the last Pixar movie did not do well.
But I think the other thing, I want to make sure we're keeping this in your prediction.
But
the whole Disney thing, their brands, like the Pixar brand and the Marvel brand and I would even say the Star Wars brand, is just not as shiny bright.
It's not.
As
that
it
is
used
true
to be.
That's
I think that's the big issue, and Netflix doesn't have that issue because they just keep bringing in new content.
That's right. So, well,
there
and a lot of that on the Disney brand side, the Marvel and Star Wars side, is because they're not putting out good product. They should recognize, so there's a fascinating thing. I was having this discussion with one of my Hollywood friends, a writer in the space.
You have Hollywood friends.
I do have Hollywood friends. I do. Well, it's because of where I live.
They live right next door to Kim Kardashian.
Something like that. Yes.
You do.
I do.
You should be proud of that. You should say,
really?
Yeah. You should say, yeah. I says, you live a hop and a skip away from Drake. And
he doesn't live here anymore. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's actually. I think he still owns the houses over there, but he does not. He's not here anymore. That's for sure. He's definitely vacated the area. That's for sure.
Was it now? Who bought him? P. Diddy?
Well, no, he was in a fight with Kanye, but they lived at one point. Kanye and Kim lived up the street, and then he lived down the street. And the fact that they were, I guess the kids call it beefing these days. So they were beefing, and they were fighting. Yeah,
that's the name of this episode. Predictions. They were beefing. They were beefing, not beefing. Beefing.
All right, let's get to our next one. To our next one here. Okay, this one I'm going to give you an A+ on. Joe predicted as his second prediction, the #1 social platform in 2023 will be LinkedIn. It will go haywire. It will become all the rage, and everybody will get on it and start posting crazy to it. I think you aced that one. I think that is
you know what? It is amazing. And I think a lot of this has to do with the Elon Musk effect, where a lot of those, content brothers that used to post on Twitter all the time moved over to LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got just, a lot of our friends did the same thing as well. I know I did. I mean, I committed to it. I still post almost every day over it and having some really, really good engagement over there. It's funny. You talk about social media. Is it social or is it media? I'm actually having it's so I recognize the same people. They're commenting. I'm almost becoming like friends with some people that I never thought I would, just because we're commenting back.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful thing about social media, but that has only happened recently through LinkedIn, because on Facebook it's different. Because Facebook, I'm already friends with those people. I didn't become friends with them on social. I was already friends with them. And LinkedIn, it's different. I'm growing into a friendship because of the way we're interacting on.
And LinkedIn. You know what it is, I think, is the difference is that on Facebook, what I find anyway, is that because you were friends before, or you're friends first and then you're Facebook friends sort of thing, for the most part. I mean, and there are a lot of people who sort of become friends with everybody, but for the most part, if you curate your friends list on Facebook, what I find is that the primary things that are in your feed, other than the stuff, the sort of algorithmically driven stuff that gets put in there from your friends, is all inside baseball stuff, right? It's all the inside stuff that, inside baseball memes and jokes and kids, and the much more personal stuff that nobody outside of your circle would get. Right. So it's a lot of sharing of jokes and sharing of humor. And because it's so-and-so, what they mean by the post and all that kind of stuff. And on LinkedIn, it's kind of the other way around, right? It's because you make that connection on LinkedIn that you start having those discussions, and it tends to center on business and, employment and your job, just because of what the nature of what LinkedIn is. But it's increasingly becoming even a little more personal, right, with the way people are interacting on it. So, yeah, I think you nailed this one, and it was funny because when I remember was in 2022 when you came out with this, you had just started sort of leaning in hard to it, and I was totally a follower onto that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that too, and I started doing the same. In early 23, I started doing this, leaning in hard to LinkedIn, and I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, I've really enjoyed the interactions that I've got.
The last thing that I will say on it, this is just a point that I've been learning, and I think everyone knows this already, but if you link out to an article, a link to something, you see drastically less promotion than if you don't link to anything.
Totally.
So I have had this whole thing, because I talked about this in my Orange Letter newsletter about the same thing, is I'm trying not to link to anything on any social media platform, including LinkedIn, because you get dinged.
That's right.
I think you get dinged for the link in comments too. I really do. I think it's just, if you can just do something, because I was promoting the new Joe Pulizzi site a couple weeks ago, and I didn't put the link in, and everybody said you should have put the link in at the top. I said, if I put the link in, you wouldn't see this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not putting the link in. I put a picture of it, and I put all my other stuff, and I'm like, if people want to see it, it's really easy.
Right.
You can find
it. It's not hard. It's myname.com.
Anyway, so it's the same thing. It's like nothing on Twitter. I know you're off of X now, but I don't do it on X. I don't do it on Thread. I have a no link social strategy now. So,
and that's the other thing. I've been enjoying Threads very much. The sort of, I would call it the reinvigoration over the last few months of Threads, because Threads went quiet. It was hugely hot, then got really quiet, and now, because I'm back, it's all me basically I'm bringing sexy back to Threads.
Did you see my comment to you the other day?
Yes, I know. You said I was.
No. I get this is so funny. So I have not been on Threads much. So I go on Threads. I hadn't been there for weeks, and the first thing I say is, Robert Rose makes the declaration that I am leaving X, formerly known as Twitter, and I am on Threads, on full-time Threads, and doing the dance. And you had like 325 likes on this thing and 60 comments, or whatever the case is. And I'm like, all right, great, good for you. And I responded, quitter.
It was so perfect. It was chef's kiss perfect. I loved it. I loved every moment of that.
All right, so I get an A on the.
You get an A.
One. What is your?
I'm keeping score, by the way. I'm keeping score here, by the way, on our grades. Okay, so my second prediction, this one I should have been more specific, and I should have kept myself to being more specific. But what I said was, first party data will become the primary focus of marketing, and Congress will pass first party data legislation. I'm giving myself an F on that one too. I mean, maybe a D, right? Because I think first party data has become more of a focus for many marketers. It has become. I would agree.
You got to give yourself a little credit on that.
All right. So I'll give myself maybe a D on that, because I definitely missed the second part. This gets to the same thing with your ban on TikTok. It's like, there was a bill floating around. I mean, at the time we talked about it on the show, there was a bill floating around, and everybody was all hot on it. And I thought, they're going to get it done in the spring. And then now they can't even figure out who's going to be Speaker of the House.
Just a bill who died on the hill.
Right.
Because everybody's focused on their own needs and wants. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's just not, nothing's going to, anything prediction that we have. See, next episode, when we do the predictions episode, we'll have nothing that passes Congress.
No, I won't be. Yeah, I won't be.
Yeah, that was our first mistake to believe.
Well, that's the prediction, right? That's the. I mean, if you want a safe prediction, is nothing's going to get done next year from a congressional standpoint. It's just the election year is going to put too much heat under everything.
Predictions in an election year are going to be fun. That's going to be a fun episode.
Yeah, so it will be a fun episode.
So so it wasn't. Now the first party data primary focus of marketing. I will restate again that I think there is a movement in that direction. You can.
I think there is too. Yeah.
You CMOs know it. VPs of marketing know it. It's going slow because AI has sucked all the oxygen out of the room right
That's
now.
true.
And has for a while. So I think it takes a back seat, but I think it is there, and it might be a good prediction for next year.
Well, it was funny because before I went and did this, I had written out some of my predictions for next year for our show. And I actually had it in there, and then I went back and reviewed it. I was like, oh, I said this last year. I was like, okay, well, maybe like your
again
prediction. It's like
if you bring it out into decades, after a while, you're bound to be right. So.
It's the George Costanza. If you believe it, it's not a lie.
Before we go to the next one, do you want to pay some?
I do. Absolutely. I couldn't think of anything I'd rather do than pay a couple of bills.
Let's take a break, and we'll take a break. We'll breathe a little bit, and we'll come back to our next.
Roll that spicy bean footage, would you? You know what time of year it is, folks. That's right. It's football season, Q4. It is time to close out another year of growth and prep for the next year of revenue. To bring in more business this Q4 and beyond, you need HubSpot's Sales Hub. With a smart prospecting workspace, deal management suite, and AI-powered apps, you can take total control of your operation to generate more leads and land more sales. And when you pair Sales Hub with HubSpot's Smart CRM, your team will be on the same page across the entire customer journey. Leads won't slip through the cracks, and data is connected across marketing, sales, and operations so you can better measure your impact on the bottom line. Stop sticking to the same old strategies and start closing more deals, because the best time to score is Q4. Make the switch to HubSpot Sales Hub at HubSpot.com/sales. Let me tell you about this awesome podcast that I was recently turned on to. It's called Talking Too Loud, hosted by Chris Savage, Wistia's CEO and loudest talker, and is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. This show gets into the minds of entrepreneurs as they share the hilarious, informative, and most challenging aspects of building more human brands. One of my favorite newer episodes is Chris's interview with my friend and fellow podcaster Jay Acunzo. Together, he and Chris talk about how people can really be more heartfelt, incorporate more candor, and pull their little life moments into their brand and messaging. Check it out, won't you? It's Talking Too Loud, and you can find it wherever you catch your favorite pods. Yeah, great.
Whenever I hear that, it's like a Stranger Things I think of with that music for some reason. Like I'm going through the Upside Down.
Yeah, it's my attachment to the 80s for sure. Yeah.
You are, yeah, you, I think that in a previous life, you were the lead singer for Oingo Boingo.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Or some 80s band for sure. Absolutely.
What would be? It wouldn't be The Cure. It would be
no.
It would be, that was a little bit different.
No, I was much more of a New Romantics kind of guy. So it would have been like ABC or Duran Duran or to a certain extent Depeche Mode, but I was definitely more the New Romantic stuff was really where I lived and breathed, right? So all that Howard Jones and
Howard Jones.
The whole English wave of the New Romantics were big for me.
I can always you never get I could listen to Howard Jones over and over. You just never get tired of it. I just, for some reason, I never get sick of Howard Jones music.
Pearl in the Shell.
So good. All right,
moving on. How'd you like my Q4 is the time to score? Was that yours? That wasn't in the. No, that's mine. That's mine.
Oh, that's
Q4 is the time to score. Anyway,
for some teams, for the Cowboys, yes.
Right, here we go. All right. Okay, so your third prediction here was that AI marketing software. This is, again, I think you nailed it. AI marketing software launches will explode. Everything will be AI productized. Everything AI will be a huge thing in 2023. I'm giving you another A for that, my friend.
First of all,
it's a little safe. It was a little safe at the time.
Kind of a slam dunk, because as soon as ChatGPT came out in November, so we were what, a month into ChatGPT craziness already. And so what have we seen? We've seen that every new software product that came out said, now our AI version, integrating AI. Yeah. There's no SaaS product out there that doesn't say that they have some kind of AI component.
And that was happening even pre-ChatGPT,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there was a lot of the machine learning and AI infusion into the marketing messaging of marketing software, right? You know, and so every marketing software you saw in 2022 had some form of, we're using machine learning to do this, whether it was true or not. But I think to your point though, it wasn't immediately clear how big it was going to be, how much, like to your earlier point, how much of the oxygen it was going to suck out of the room. I mean, I think, you know, we were still at that point going like, well, it could be the next metaverse crypto thing, and it could just sort of die on the vine. But, you know, yeah, I mean, it's a little safe, but I still give you an A for it for sure.
Well, I would do B plus just because I think it was sort of a layup. But what I would say is, because I remember in May of 22 when we had the first CEX event, the sessions on Web3 were all sold out. You couldn't fit another person in any of the sessions. And then you fast forward 1 year, there were nobody going to the Web3 sessions, and the AI sessions were sold out, except for yours, because yours, I mean, Robert Rose always gets a crowd no matter what he speaks about. But so that's what I would say. And it's just, I guess the big thing that I didn't know was going to be a thing is how mainstream it's gone. Everyone you talk to, no matter what the age, has some idea of AI, open AI, Chat GPT.
The fact that my wife uses the app, the Chat GPT app, like she used to use Google, now she uses Chat GPT.
Oh my gosh, that's
that has surprised me at how quickly she has grasped onto it as a new way of doing searches. Yeah, it's amazing.
All right. So B plus for me on that one.
I'm going to give you a B plus on that. All right. Yeah. So, all right. So my next one, my third prediction here was that. So I said Google will announce an AI detector for images and text and will update their algorithm to deprecate AI content.
Kind of went the other way on that one, didn't it?
Yeah, kind of went the other. Well, here's the thing. I thought it was going to be Google. It was actually sort of, you know, because we ended up having quite a discussion about it, and I ended up sort of repositioning that as, I'm just being transparent here that I did say what I just said, but I then ended up repositioning it slightly to say, well, it could also be that, because at the time the goal was to say we might certify real content versus, you know, sort of try and catch AI content. You know, in other words, let's certify what is real and human made versus trying to catch what is AI made. And if it's not certified, then you sort of know that it could have been made by AI. And I sort of repositioned it around that. But no, I did say it was going to be Google. And as it turns out, the one who's really made the biggest strides in this area is Adobe. Adobe has made the biggest sort of you know, in terms of AI detection and certification for imagery and text and all those kinds of things. But yeah, Google deprecating content on AIs, you know, unless it's happened without me knowing it. No, so I give myself maybe a D or a C plus on that, just because.
I'll give you the C plus. I mean, it was a bold prediction. It was a bold prediction. But Google, Google. I mean, even in the last episode, you talked about how they've got the whole beta integration of AI into the search results, and you said they're not working very well.
They're not. It's working okay, but it's not. I'm not impressed. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean? I haven't, you know, the way it works now, the way I see it in my search is it'll pull usually from some sort of AI thing, and then it links to whatever the first link is. You know, whatever the first organic link is, will be the link on the search page. And then it may or may not have 3 other little thumbnails in there. And I think they're testing that maybe for paid, like a paid placement kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
All right. So C plus for you.
C plus.
We got a couple more here.
Yeah. All right. Let's look at the next one. Here's your fourth one. Your fourth one here. This one you kind of fell into a wall a little bit. You talked about, I mean, you've been making this prediction for a long time, but
10 years at least.
This one you got specific on. Yeah, this one you got specific on. It still didn't really hit at all. Content acquisitions, you said the first 6 months is going to be a pin drop. Like it's going to be so quiet that you could hear a pin drop in terms of acquisitions of media companies. And then you said the latter half of 2023, there's going to be 3 to 6 major acquisitions of content companies. And we just didn't see any of that.
I have to give myself an F on this. You know what I see? I see media companies being like BuzzFeed being torn apart right now.
Yeah.
Just the business model of media is very difficult because advertising has like display advertising, especially online, has
collapsed. Yeah.
And I've heard it over and over, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in, that you've had advertisers have just pulled back from that model.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's been a problem. And you also have seen the fact that you have the rising to the 1 or 2 are fine, but if you're in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th option in a market, and you've got an email newsletter or some kind of a website with news, any of the news stuff is in big trouble right now. It's just a bad business model. It has been for a long time, but of course,
newspapers are really hurting right now.
It's just tough all the way. I mean, if there is a newspaper in your locality these days,
that's right.
I mean, you're talking about the national stuff. I mean, New York Times is going to be just fine.
Well, they've successfully pivoted, right? They have successfully pivoted over to the subscription model and right-sized their business. And, I think to your point, they're going to be fine, right? They've been making some smart acquisitions. They've got access to great content. The acquisition of The Athletic was really smart. But maybe the smartest thing they did, probably from a profitability standpoint, had to be the acquisition of Wordle. I mean, that's huge, right? So
I'll give myself a D on this because the only one I can think of, and I can't even remember the company that bought them, but MatPat's game theory and food theory site was acquired this year, is the only one that I can think of where they acquired but it's not a content company necessarily. I mean, he's a content entrepreneur, content creator. So that happened. I'll probably, for the next episode, I'll just push this one right into 24.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that I want you to go next because I have a comment on your next one. So I'm going to give myself
a D. We're giving a D on that?
A D on that one.
A D on that. All right. So we're taking a D. You're taking the D.
I'm going to take a D.
Take a D. Oh, we're 17 again. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. The next one was I made a comment and a prediction about the economy. Because everybody was freaking out about the recession at that point of the year. And I said, my prediction was recession will hit in early 2023, but will be mild and highly focused on the tech sector. Joe thought we were already kind of in the recession and coming out of it. And we had a big discussion and basically agreed that if there was going to be a recession, it would be mild, except for the technology sector. And then would be okay. And I think that's pretty good. Maybe a B on that, I would think.
Well,
I don't think we really hit a recession.
We technically really never hit a recession.
Right. But it was there. But there was a large part of the tech sector that did.
So basically what happened from that output is you had the big companies like Amazon, Apple, and Google and Microsoft. They basically laid off thousands.
That's right.
Thousands of people. And what you see right now happening, and you see it in every result. You see it in Roku came out with great, amazing results. Microsoft, Google, they're all coming out. Facebook, amazing results. Why? Because they cut their costs significantly, and they're showing some of the best, most profitable years they've ever had. So that's helped their stock prices a little bit. But they prepared for a recession, and they use that as an excuse. We talked about it on one of the shows where they're using the recession as an excuse to fire all these people and get rid of all these people, and it never really happened.
That's right. And what's amazing to me is that in prepping for this show, I went out and started looking around, and the headlines are almost copy paste from last year for this year. Like everybody's going, oh, early 24 is going to be bad. It's going to be bad. No, we're going to go into a recession in the first half of 24. It's like, really? I mean, are you just going to keep doing this until it eventually happens?
Well, it is a little bit different from a consumer spending standpoint, because you don't have any of the COVID money. All that COVID money's gone now, and you have people have to pay for their student loans again.
But consumer spending is up. Employment's down. I mean, the numbers
It's
continue
a lagging
to
indicator.
defy.
Lagging indicator. You wait. We'll talk about it. And I think.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about some of your financial prowess here in just a moment.
Oh my God! Interest rates on homes are
well, yeah, that's huge.
Yes, all those things are going to
don't differ with that a bit. Yeah,
economy. Oh, it's going to be not bad. I mean, it's going to
be not bad.
No, consumer spending is just not going to be what it was in 23. There's no way. There's no way. There's just not that amount. There's 50. I saw a thing. 57% of U.S. households are living paycheck to paycheck right now. What?
No, it's good. I don't disagree that it's something we'll give, right? But I'm pretty bullish. I'm pretty bullish for 24. I'm pretty bullish for 24. I gotta say.
You think the stock market's going to be up?
I think it's an election year, so I think there's a wild card there, right? So, but I think it is actually. I think you're going to see the stock market go up, and I think you're going to see. I mean, because it gets I don't want to spoiler alert my. Oh
yeah, we're going on. Yeah, I moved on to predictions.
Yeah,
because I've got some on the financial side too.
Okay,
but we're going to save those.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
All right,
maybe
so
we'll disagree.
You're giving yourself
I'm giving myself a B on that. I'm giving myself a B on that because I actually did.
You're grading yourself on a curve with that one, my friend. But that's fine.
I know. I think it's. I was.
You said recession will hit in early 23,
but be mild and highly focused on the tech sector. You can't forget the specificity that I added there.
But there was no recession.
No, I know. But you said that we were already in one in December, and we weren't.
Yeah, I probably did.
Yeah,
but see, since I can't remember what I said, that's why I'm always right, because I can never remember what I said.
That's true.
Ignorance is bliss.
Thank the Tito's for that. Okay,
there you go. Okay.
So here now we get to the fun one, which is your last pick that wasn't the kicker. You had the actual last pick, but your last sort of normal pick here was. This one was I actually literally laughed out loud when I listened to this on the show. You will see a lot of success of tokenization and Web3 strategies. Bellwether NFTs like Cryptopunks and Bored Apes will double or triple in value by the end of 2023. Well, you were specific anyway. I mean, is there a grade lower than F for that? It's like, can I give you a G for that?
I was a bit off.
A little bit off.
Okay, so sort of went the other way.
Sort of went the other way.
There's not much happening in tokenization or Web3, although I have to say a couple things. CryptoPunks and most token projects went to zero.
Yes.
Now, the bellwether ones are still around and holding steady.
No.
So, okay, let's look at CryptoPunks. The floor on CryptoPunks is about 45 ETH right now, which is about $90,000.
Yeah.
Which is just a little bit less than it was a year ago.
CryptoPunks, I will say, has held there, but things like Bored Apes.
Bored Apes has gone down a little bit, but it's still valued at whatever it is. I think it was at 30 the last time I saw whatever. Those are not going away. They're substantial projects. They're going to be around. But what I think is interesting, again, I'm just talking myself out of this horrible prediction. You're seeing a big uptick right now in cryptocurrency in general, and when that happens, you see a lot more development. So I don't know if anybody's been noticing, but Bitcoin's hovering around 35,000 now. You've got ETH getting close to 2,000. You've got the Bitcoin halving coming up. You've got a possible ETF coming. There's a lot of positive things going around crypto. That said, not a lot going. I don't even know if Web3 is a term that people are using anymore. It's like it's gone.
Well, what's really gone is the whole metaverse idea, right? This whole thing of Web3 and equating it to the metaverse and marketing stuff.
It's not gone, but it's definitely taken.
Well, no, it's just a back seat. Yeah,
a trunk seat.
And I think what you see now is a lot of the Yeah, I mean, not to give ourselves a grade on a prediction we didn't make, but I think one of the things that you and I continued to say into the fall and winter of last year was there's too much hype. Most of this hype is unwarranted. The long-term strategy of things like tokenization and blockchain and the technologies that will be enabled from that will be transformational, but it's going to take way longer and it's not going to be necessarily associated with the sort of super fatty stuff that's going on, like people buying an NFT for millions of dollars and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about the future. I don't know when this, but I believe tokens have a role in business models, but who knows what it's going to be. There's a lot of development, a lot of smart people doing it. But my prediction, I have to give it an F. I have to. It's totally. I can't make pie out of this. It's just a big steaming whatever. It's terrible.
Steaming heap of F.
Okay, your last prediction.
My last one, which was I said mid 2023, Apple introduces an Apple VR headset, but it'll be super expensive and a luxury item.
Did you put this in? You exactly got this one.
This one I nailed. Yeah, this one I nailed. Yeah, this one I
did
have
you
to say
know? Did you have Kardashian insight?
I did not, but I was
God.
reading the tea leaves of whatever they were doing. But this one I got right.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. And
now we'll see if I end up right about, because your objection to that was like what you said on the show was, yes, I agree with the first part, not the second part. You said I agree with that. It'll be out and it'll be super expensive and a luxury item. But I tagged mine by saying it'll be the introduction of something, a discounted or a smaller or cheaper version that they introduce in 24. And you were like, nah, I'm not sure about that. You were pretty sure that they were going to keep it luxury and expensive. I think you may be right about that now. I think they may keep it to be a very niche product. I don't think they're going to go wide with it right away.
Yeah, I think the play ultimately here is augmented reality, but I still don't know if people are going to wear some kind of a headset.
I agree.
So I think is it contacts? It could be contacts or something. Yeah. I could see that. Happening.
But the Apple one is cool. I mean, it's definitely cooler than the other ones.
I've talked to anybody who's tried it. They're like, oh my God, it's amazing. It's transformational, whatever. But there's not a lot of people that have it right now.
Yeah.
So who knows? So that's an A+.
Yeah. Thank you.
At least a good one.
And then we'll go to the last one, which was your kicker.
I always had to do. I always got to one up you.
Yeah. Well,
but I shouldn't have.
I think all you wanted to say was Apple was going to go buy Disney because you were looking at making the joke, but you actually tagged it with Apple in 2023 will launch Apple Land, where the Apple Store is taken to the next level. And then you said, and Apple's going to buy Disney.
So, well, okay, let's start with the second part first. There has been more talk this year about that than I'm going to give you 3 years previous.
I'm willing to give you a C- for that one because it didn't happen, and you said it would, but there has been a lot more talk about it.
Well, and why is because Iger came back on board, and of course, Iger and Steve Jobs were best friends and whatever, and that. So the thought was, and we've talked about this at length the last episode. Disney is sort of struggling to figure out ultimately what their business model is. Their stock price is at a 9-year low, and so if it was ever going to happen with Apple's, billions of dollars in cash, they could get it for a song if they decided to do that. It sounds like they're not, but if they were ever going to do it, now would be the time. The Apple Land thing, I remember when I made this prediction is because we took the family out to main Apple campus, and I was so disappointed by my experience there that all they had was an Apple store and a coffee shop, and you had all these people taking these pilgrimages to go see Apple. And it's not, they could do some amazing things, and I wanted to will it into existence.
Yeah.
Is what I wanted to do. And it's not happening. Because they don't care. Because they don't care about their fans.
Yeah.
They don't care about making people like us happy at all. I'm going to give myself a D on that one just because of the scuttlebutt, but of course, none of it's right.
Yeah, there you go.
None of it's right.
Well, we did pretty well. Here's how we did. So you got 1A, 2 Fs, 1 B, and 2 Ds. So, and you had one more prediction than I did. So it's a little bit of a curve there.
Yeah.
So I'd give you an average of a C. I think that's the right way to put that average together.
All right.
And then me, almost by design, I got 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and 1F. So I basically also end up with a C based on the average, but I basically got one of every grade.
The saddest thing is, no matter what we do as human beings, we're always just average. Don't you want to be above average?
I do.
Don't you have goals?
Don't
you care about yourself?
What do you want to do with your life?
It's always just, although the hope is in our December special episode that we're really going to nail them. We're really going to.
Oh, we're going to nail them this year. Yeah, this year,
absolutely.
Unlike every single year that we do this, where we always end up. I think there was one year where maybe they were all layups, but I think there was one year where we did pretty darn good. Like it was the year that you and I we said that, I predicted that Amazon would win an Emmy Award, and you predicted something about an acquisition, and there was one year like 2014 or 2015 or something where it was pretty good, but everything else has been.
I think we made them too. I think last year was good because I like your idea of being very specific, and I think we really
yeah.
But some of these predictions I just have to let go.
I know.
I have to, and I can't.
I know.
I just have to. The content acquisition thing, I just can't let it go. I do every presentation I do around the world. It's always marketers are going to start buying content companies.
I wish that's the one I keep waiting to happen, and it's just not happening. It's amazing. I mean, it happens in a little bit every year. It seems like and then it sort of nothing.
I think there's CMOs out there that want to do it, but they say, "No, Joe says it's going to be a thing, so I'm not doing it."
There it is. That could be true.
Just to
spite you.
Well, congratulations on your C.
Thank you. Congratulations on your C.
Thank you. We have not failed marketing class.
We're sort of predictions.
We're gonna slide by.
Just make it. Just slide by.
Make it.
I think you'll just slide by, Spicoli.
Make it very good. And then next week we'll go back to our regular.
Next week we'll have a regular news show, and then at some point in December we will do a wonderful predictions episode where we will do this all over again and be very specific about what it is we're doing. And of course, at that point, we'll also predict our teams for the 2024 season.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. What do you got? So anything coming up you got?
By the time this airs, I will have just come back from my first fiction author conference.
Oh, wow.
So okay. I'm very much looking forward to talking to you about this because, first of all, I get to go to an event and not speak or do anything. I don't have to run it.
Yeah.
So I get to, I want to see what other event is like. Yeah. And then I actually am going to be around these fiction authors that are making a living by writing novels. And of course, that's just amazing to me that people can do that. And I want to learn how they're going to do it. And I get in because I wrote one novel. I can't believe it.
That's a brilliant thing.
Can't believe it. What do you got going on?
By the time this airs, I will be just myself coming back from a trip. One of the reasons that we're recording this when we are, I will be coming back from a client trip where I'm doing an on-site full-day workshop with a client, and and hopefully celebrating many football wins. But favorite time.
Yeah, that'd be exciting if we're talking like we can talk about. I think you're going to be in a good mood, and I'm not.
I will see.
Hopefully, we're both in a good mood.
Yeah, we'll see.
If we're both in a bad mood, it's going to be a bad show.
It's going to be a bad show.
It's going to be. We'll have to tell people to skip it.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for attending. We do love you all so much. Remember, questions. We would love to get your questions about anything that you hear on the show, and you can do that at thisoldmarketing.com. And of course, on our YouTube channel, go check us out there. And until we see you next week with our regularly scheduled programming, just remember, in the meantime, it's your story to tell. Tell it well. We'll see you next week on This Old Marketing.